I'm going to talk a little bit about hair and why you have the hair loss and the thinning and what things can affect that. And then I've also invited Michelle Coyne to come and speak after I'm done. And she has been through this, and she started a business as a result of it. So that when you're getting a little thin up here on the top particularly, she's got some toppers, I guess they're called, to cover that up and help you get through that period of time. My cousin, who went through chemotherapy, obviously lost a lot of hair, and that's what she used initially, and then before she ended up having to go to a full wig. But it was very helpful for her because she was very thin up in this part of her scalp, and it really helped fill that in a little bit. So she'll show you those and how to use them. Okay? So let me start out. So what is hair? Hair is 91% a structural protein called keratin. And the rest of it is really just melanin, which is the color component of it, and then trace vitamins and minerals, including iron and zinc and other things like that. And it grows out of, as I'm sure you all know, follicles in the skin. And I found this really interesting. You're born with all the follicles you'll ever have, and you'll have about 5 million of them. And that is not all on your head. Obviously, there's other parts of your body, so some of those 5 million are spread around. But on average, your hair is going to grow about 1/2 inch a month or about 6 inches a year. And that is on the top of your head. Depending on what part of your body has the hair on it, there are different periods of time based on genetics for how long your hair will grow, and that's why some people can't grow longer hair, and some people it grows really fast. Most of that has to do with genetics. So why do we have hair? Initially, hair was designed to protect us from physical trauma, for thermoregulation. It does prevent heat loss, and it does facilitate evaporation when we perspire a lot. So it's really designed to help you with thermoregulation. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard that when you're out in the cold, the best thing you can do is have a hat on because it prevents a lot of heat loss. My best friend, her husband has a big cattle ranch down in the Flint Hills, and he believes with all his heart that a hat can save your life. So that's probably very true for a rancher. So how does it grow? It starts from a root in the bottom of the follicle, and that's made up of protein, and then blood vessels in your scalp feed that root. So if you're losing hair, you don't want to stop brushing it or stimulating that scalp because you want more circulation in your scalp. I know a lot of people are afraid to wash their hair too often or to brush it too hard, but you want to continue to stimulate the scalp to get that circulation going. As it grows, it pushes up through the skin, and it goes past an oil gland, and that's what keeps it soft and shiny. And it's also why we end up getting greasy hair if we don't wash it, so you do have to get some of that buildup off. But by the time the hair pokes through and you actually see it, that part is dead, okay? Otherwise, it would hurt when you get a haircut. So it's like nails. They're also basically made of the same thing. So this is the 4 phases of hair growth. The anagen phase, which is the longest phase, is when it's actually growing before it pokes out. And that can last anywhere from 2 to 7 years, okay? So again, that's why some people have short hair and some people have long hair. And then after it's once it's reached the end of that, it goes into the catagen phase, which is actually the regression phase. Okay? And that lasts about 10 days, and that follicle shrinks, and the root detaches from that follicle. And so it's getting ready to go into the telogen phase or the resting phase. And this lasts about 3 months. And it takes normally around 10 to 15% of your hairs are in this phase at any one time. 90% are in this phase here. But it's kind of resting. Your new hair is starting to get ready to grow down here. And then in the exogen phase, those that have been resting for about 3 months then fall out. And you lose normally about 100 to 150 hairs a day, just normally. Obviously, when you're having thinning hair after surgery, you're seeing a whole lot more than that. And the reason is because the stress of the surgery pushes these hairs into this phase. Okay? It's called telogen effluvium. And it pushes a lot of your hair into that phase. And as it says, it lasts around 3 months. So about 3 months after surgery is when you're going to see the hair start to thin, and it's going to last for about 3 months. And then you're going to start seeing hairs begin to grow again. Oh, I was wrong. You usually shed 50 to 100 hairs a day. But the things that can push it into that telogen phase quickly are major stresses like loss of a spouse, loss of a child, major surgery, anything, even childbirth can do it. And there are some medications that will do that as well. And the reason is because your hair isn't necessary for survival. Your body doesn't need your hair. And so all those nutritional, all that protein and all that nutrition that would normally go up here are going to other parts of your body to heal whatever the stress or the surgery is. So when it pushes you into that telogen effluvium stage about 3 months after surgery, it's simply because we've abruptly changed how you get your nutrition. And you're probably going through a phase where you're not getting as much because you can't eat that much after surgery. And just the stress of the surgery itself, all of that pushes you into that phase. And we can't reverse it. Once you're in that phase, it's going to come out. This is just another picture of the growth cycle. As you can see, this one says 2 to 6 years, but that's when it's still growing. Then you've got your transition phase, then you've got your telogen phase, and you see that this is now detached, a new one's starting to build here, and it's going to start pushing this one out. And the new hair begins to grow, and it will push this old hair completely out. Okay? So when I was looking at all the literature on this, the single biggest thing that they talk about is protein. If you're low in your protein, that's the #1 cause of hair thinning that doesn't go away and that continues beyond that 6 months. So make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet, and add protein, add a scoop of protein powder somehow into your diet when you're cooking, doing things like that. Make sure you get at least those 60 grams of protein, okay? Collagen, which is bone broth, you can get out of bone broth or gelatin. In the old days, they used to say, eat your Jell-O, because all that gelatin is full of collagen and it's good for your hair and your nails. And that's really very true, because it is all gelatin. Your vitamins are incredibly important, as is your calcium. You've got to get plenty of water, and you want to avoid chemically treating your hair. Now, one of the things in this article that I passed out talks about iron and zinc deficiency. And iron actually, let me back up a second. We expect your hair to start thinning about 3 months, to continue for 3 or 4 months, but then we want to see it regrow. If it goes beyond that period of time, there is probably a nutritional deficiency, okay? So if you find yourself a year after surgery and your hair hasn't started to regrow, then we really need to look at your levels of different minerals and vitamins. And one of the first things is iron. And you can't just look at your iron, you have to look at iron stores. And so the test that you have to get done is a ferritin level, because that's going to test what your iron stores are. And you need, in order to regrow hair, a little higher level than what a lot of doctors think you need. They won't think you're anemic, and yet we find that when we add that iron in and get those levels up above 40, that then you'll start to see some hair growth. Along with that, you want to see enough zinc. And zinc isn't something we very often check levels of in patients. But if you're struggling with hair being too thin and not regrowing, that is another thing we want to take a look at. Vitamin D is also really important. You need vitamin D to absorb calcium, and both calcium and vitamin D in amounts need to be, in small amounts, need to be a part of this. So all of your bariatric vitamins and your calcium are really, really important. So when will it grow back? As we said, 3 to 6 months after that thinning occurs. And hair loss longer than that is usually a vitamin or mineral deficiency. I guess I had all this written on this slide. I forgot about it. And to continue to stimulate your scalp, encourage that circulation. Don't try to be too gentle with your scalp. Make sure you continue to wash your hair and brush it, even though you're afraid every time you brush it that you're going to see more hair falling out. I did do a lot of looking into what shampoos are best to use. And interestingly enough, dandruff shampoos with zinc actually reduce the inflammation of the follicle. And a lot of hair thinning, you see inflammation of that follicle. So anything that can reduce the inflammation really helps. And a lot of your dandruff shampoos have zinc in them. So those are supposed to be helpful. Your thickening shampoos that have amino acids, biotin, ginseng root, menthol, or peppermint root are supposed to be good. I don't know if it's because the menthol and the peppermint root make it tingle on your scalp, and so you think something's happening. But biotin in the shampoo actually helps to metabolize the amino acids and help strengthen your hair. We recently put out an FDA report that said taking a whole lot of biotin can throw your lab work off. So all those supplements that people take supposedly for hair growth, some people take some really high doses of biotin, and that's just not a good idea. It's not going to hurt you, but if you get lab work drawn, you need to stop that a week before you have that lab work drawn, or it can really throw all your lab values off. And then shampoos with vitamin E and ginseng can promote growth by decreasing some of the free radicals, which are those things that you get from stress and sun and overprocessing. Those are the things that cause inflammation. So you want to use the vitamin E and ginseng in a shampoo to have those anti-inflammatory properties. These are some of the shampoos that they recommend in the literature. Nioxin 2, and it says on the bottle, for noticeably thinning hair. That's supposed to be a good one. Living Proof Full Shampoo. The Laratel Diamond Strong is one. The Dove Dermacare Scalp Shampoo is the cheapest. That's what I'm going to try next. And this OGX Rejuvenating Cherry Blossom and the Shea African Water Ming and Ginger. I found all of those online. Most of those are available in places like beauty brands, Ulta, drugstores. You can usually find them, but all of those are available online as well.
Thank you for the pictures of them.
Huh?
Thank you for the pictures of the bottles.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I can remember a bottle picture better than I can remember a name. And I have heard of a product called Monet Hair. There's a line of products for that, and some people swear by it, but I don't promote it because there have been a few people that apparently had a bad outcome with it, and they ended up having to cut all their hair off. So there are a lot of people, though, that have had surgery that have used Monet and think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread and that it really helped with hair regrowth. I don't know if it does. I take no accountability if you use it and it doesn't work. I just wanted to let you know. It's one of those products that you have to buy from an individual person that carries that line of products, or buy it online. So if you want to try it, by all means do. They wanted us to carry it here, some of the people that sell it, which I will not do because I don't know enough about the product. But I wanted to let you know that it's out there. Go online, read about it, and if you want to try it, that's fine. And then I'm going to let Michelle talk about the toppers because I know that a lot of you would like to just have something to cover up that scalp here in the front where it seems to get so thin. A lot of people are thin here naturally, and you can either get just a topper for this part or you can get a full-on wig, and so she's going to talk to you about it. She has had bariatric surgery, so she has lived through this and understands how distressing it is, particularly to women, to lose a lot of their hair, particularly if they have a lot of thinning hair to begin with. So, Michelle, I'm going to turn these lights back on so you can show people what you do. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Is it easier if she wears a microphone? Does that make it better? Okay. Do you mind?
No, not at all.
Okay. I don't have any pockets to hang this on.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Michelle Coyne, and I have a company called Dig Your Wig. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit how I got started and maybe show you a few products. About 10 years ago, I had gastric bypass surgery, and I lost about 130 pounds, and I started developing hair loss, which is, you know, a common factor with that. I also have hereditary issues with thinning hair as well, so I kind of had the double whammy on me. So even after I got past the stages that she told you about, I still continued the thinning of my hair. So I don't know, a couple years ago, I was getting ready to go out with some friends and trying to do my hair, and I was literally in tears because I couldn't do anything with it. There's just nothing there. My loss is mainly in the front. So I decided to get online and do some research, and I came across a site that carried hair toppers, and I really had never heard of them before. I ordered one and I got it, and when I put it on, I was amazed. My confidence level went through the roof. It's insane how devastating hair loss can be, like she said, especially to women. So anyway, once I had it, I just decided that it made me feel that good, and I wanted to help other people feel that good as well. So I started my business. Again, it's called Dig Your Wig. I carry everything from toppers all the way up to full-blown wigs. They come in every style you can possibly think of. I'm actually wearing a topper right now. This is the Beach Wave topper, and it has 5 clips. Basically, there's one in the front, 2 here, and then there's 2 in the back, and it's, I'll put this down in a minute. The base of it's only about this big, so the rest of it's just free falling, and my natural hair is underneath, which I just took a shower before I came here and put this on over my wet hair and just let it dry, since it's a wavy style. So this is one of the toppers, and this one, there's different bases. This one is for somebody that is looking for coverage right up in here. This was my second piece that I ever purchased. So basically with this, if you want to just, to get a little bit of coverage in your front, you would just unclip the clips. You can put it up here, and then you just clip it in, and then it will fall and blend in with your natural hair. These are really good. They're top designer toppers. They have what's called a monofilament top, which means it's going to make your scalp look, it's going to make you look like you have it's a natural scalp, no matter where the hair parts. This is a little bit of a longer one. You can see the difference in the base on this one. This is for somebody that's has advanced hair loss stage. Most of you will not, you won't have to go here, but I just wanted to show you the difference in the sizes that you can get. So they go through, there's multiple stages from beginning, progressive to advanced. They also come in different hair fibers. These both are synthetic, which means that it's made of Cancolon hair fiber. The fiber basically it's kind of like a little memory to it. When you get one of these, this is a total synthetic hair fiber wig, and so is the one that I have on. This one comes curly. Once it's like this, it will never change its style. You can wash it, you put it out to dry, and it'll dry exactly how it was before you washed it. You don't have to curl it, you don't have to do anything to it. There's no maintenance involved at all. So my hair took me probably about 2 minutes to do before I came over. It was awesome. There's also heat defiant, which actually, this one is a heat defiant, which means that you can actually blow it dry, you can put any heat on it, you can curl it with the iron, you can straight iron it, do whatever you want, however you want, to blend in with your hair, however you're styling it that day. And then we have the human hair toppers as well, which those are a little bit, higher up in price, but those, of course, it's just going to be like wearing your, human hair. It depends on your level of activity that you're involved in, personally, me, I hate humidity. My hair turns into a big cotton ball, and I just don't want to deal with that. So my preference over human hair is the synthetic, not the heat synthetic. I don't even want to deal with that. But you do have those options. And again, like I said, they come in many different sizes, and just depending on where you're losing your hair. Some people lose it up here, which is my problem. Some people will lose it down the middle, down the part, and some people will lose it back here at the crown. There is a topper for every stage of hair loss anywhere on your head. So if you need it, we can hook you up. I have a few over here. They come in, I don't know, probably 50 different colors. There's multiple colors, and to blend in with any hair color. They come in highlighted, so you can take a look at them. I also put some pamphlets together, and if you want to grab one on your way out, it also has my business card and my website. You can take a look at the website if you want to browse through there and just get a better idea of what they're made of and what they look like and the different types and everything. All right?
She's got all her stuff over here, and Laura's got all the items over there, so if you want to, while we're in our circles, come and go to either of those sites, you can do that. And she can show you all the different ones she has and give you her pamphlet if you want. Okay, and Laura can sell the vitamins. So you're already in your groups.